Hi, I'm Joanne Farrell,
I'm Miriam Horne.
and we're going to talk about rhetorical analysis. So the first thing we think students should understand is what it means. Rhetorical analysis is an analysis of a text to explore what it says, but also what it does. And what it does, meaning some of the strategies that the writer uses to make his or her point. So we encourage students to first look for the context. Under what context was this text written? Who wrote it? What was going on in the world at the time? The next thing is you want to look at what the writer was thinking. What was the purpose? Did the writer want to teach? Did the writer want to beg? Did the writer want to explain, inform, explore? And then we look at, well, okay, what is the writer saying? And then we look at evidence. How is the writer making the claim or the point that he or she is trying to do? What is the evidence? What are the sources that he or she may use? And then we look at the rhetorical strategies. How? What is the text doing? How does what strategies does the writer do to make the point? Is there a lot of ethos or pathos or logos, language, tone, structure of the text, and even the genre of the text? Could this text be more effective if it was written as a film, as a blog, as a research paper, or maybe even as a review, or perhaps even a letter? So that's basically what we teach students how to think about what a rhetorical analysis is.
It's particularly important that I think that students understand that a rhetorical analysis is not just a classroom activity. They need to understand that rhetorical analysis is something that they're doing all the time, every single day. And as we tap into that in the classroom, students are then able to take that outside of the classroom. So let me give you an example of how I try to bridge that with my students or help them to understand what's going on. So one example of a rhetorical analysis that I will do midway through the semester, excuse me, after we've talked about summarizing and after we've talked about some of those smaller steps that build up to a larger kind of a rhetorical analysis, or one piece of a rhetorical analysis, is around Halloween time when the students are playing humans versus zombies. I'll have the students watch a variety of zombie movies and then ask them not to critique the zombie movies, which is what they expect to do, but to analyze them. But not the whole movie. They have to choose one way in. So it might be from the perspective of the director, it might be from the perspective of the screenwriter, might be from this perspective of the set designer, the makeup artist, the music designer, a character, an actor. It could be anything. And so I ask them to think about what that particular person might be trying to do, and then how they go about doing it. And then we get into the strategies that Joanne was talking about. So some of those things like how do they use logos? How do they use ethos? How do they use pathos? What kind of evidence are they presenting? And it's all different depending on who they are, even though they're all working within the same context on the same actual text. So students begin to see that in popular culture, in the things in their lives, that these kinds of analyses can help them understand what they're seeing all the time. And then we can build on from that to all kinds of political issues or newspaper articles or anything else that they might find relevant. What about you?
Okay, that's great because, well, first of all, I love anything about performance. But before I can get to something like that, I have them do the first week of class. They have to choose 5 texts that have been significant to them. And all they have to do is name the text, and they have to do a very quick summary of the text, and then they have to look at it in terms of 1 or 2 of the elements. So for example, they may just look at what this writer was doing and then what this writer was saying. Maybe as simple as that. And then the main focus of that assignment is to get them to understand how to summarize. The point is that we can't just give them a rhetorical analysis in mid-semester and expect them to do a good job. They need to be doing this all through in small little baby steps, scaffolded assignments. So it will take me a few of those before I could get to the one that you mentioned.
Absolutely.
But one that I like to do is I'll take a scene, I'll ask them to take any monologue from Othello, and they explore it. First thing they do is they divide the paper in half, and on the one side they write the original text, and on the other side they use contemporary language, which is so hard for them to do, because of course Shakespeare says it much better than they or I could ever say. Then they write a 2 to 4 page sort of personal expository essay where they explain the rhetorical situation, the character's purpose, the character that they're analyzing. So what is Iago doing? Is clearly he's trying to persuade Othello to do something, but what exactly is it? And what strategies is he using in order to get Othello to consider his point and follow through on the goal? But that's it.
That's it.
For now.
Come ask